Sup, all you sexy beast listeners? Welcome back to the Double Lung Pod. As always, Biggie Latin, Rambo, and joining us, our most frequent guest, the Hyman Smasher, Ryan Maitland. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Mr. Maitland.
Good to be here. I won't clap for myself this time.
It's more like haircut looks good, man. About fucking time.
Thank you.
You were people handing you chains like outside of Walmart?
No, I'm a cheap motherfucker, and I got caught in a cycle where I like to get a haircut like every 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My hair grows pretty thick, so I can normally get away with it, but I needed one at about 6 weeks, and then I realized I had my brother's wedding, and I was the best man like 2 weeks from that point. And I was like, I'm not going to get a haircut now to have to get another one later.
Mm-hmm.
So I just gutted it out and got a haircut.
Yeah. I get a haircut like every 2-3 weeks.
I know, I don't get that.
I like to, you know.
Nothing like to look fucking sharp, dog.
I'm a cocksman, right?
Yeah,
You know that. I got to look good, you know. It's twisted steel, sex
made
appeal.
different. We're just made different.
Yeah.
My hair doesn't like to grow much anymore,
Yeah.
so I can go pretty long.
You know, now I think about it, I cannot think of you without a hat on. I don't even know what your hair looks like.
You don't want to know, Ryan.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
It's making a mad dash from my forehead all the way back.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before the podcast. It's like my hair's coming from here and it's slowly going to my fucking back. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's all part of the experience, baby.
Yeah.
My wife tells me every day how I'm losing my hair.
Yeah. Well, it's
You got a big bald spot.
It still looks great. Yeah, mine does too. It's my hairline ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, mine either.
As soon as if I get like a clear like look to where I can see like I'm losing my hair, I'm just shaving it off.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I'm like no hesitation.
Yeah.
I will actually welcome that day.
I've even thought about doing it now. Now, like people tell me, like, "Nah, dude, you're good. Like, give it some time." But like, I just feel like a bald head ain't a bad look. You know what I mean?
I mean, I still got a full head of hair.
Yeah.
But it's thinning pretty quick.
Yeah. Yours is different than me and John's. Like, you're losing it like in the back.
I've got like a
As
bald
to
spot
me
in
and
the
John are
back.
losing it more towards the front.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I wonder what that is.
Bad, just inbreeding.
Yeah,
of
generations
lack
of
of
inbreeding,
testosterone
lack
over
of tea.
here.
Generations and generations of inbreeding.
My dad growing up, I'd always wear a hat, and he'd always be like, "Why would you wear a hat? You're gonna lose your hair early.
I heard the same
You
thing.
lose your hair early."
That's bullshit.
It's total bullshit.
All right, if every deer you killed, you lose, I don't know, let's say an 1/8 inch off your hairline.
Yikes!
Yeah. What would you do?
I'm making them deer count.
I'm killing some big bucks, dude. I'm going like 3 years between deer.
Like I said, I'm welcoming being able to shave my head. So
That sounds like
I
too
would,
much.
if that was the case, honestly, I would stack the fuck out of does just to completely
Just to
bald.
do it.
Yeah. Just send it. Just
Fuck
go.
shaving, yeah.
Yep. Fuck shaving. Send it off.
or like every deer you kill, you lose like a random patch of hair.
Like fucking alopecia.
You can't shave it. It's just like you're stuck there until you kill
yikes.
another. So it's like once you kill one,
I
you
gotta
gotta
kill
complete the look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shoot everything.
Yeah.
Button bucks, everything.
Fucking hey, I'm like an Amish. Fucking bastards.
Bastards. Get a car.
Oh man. So, Ryan, how's your season been going, man? I don't think you've been on here since. I mean, other than the Sika episode.
Yeah, I've been on before Sika. It's going all right.
Did you?
It's going all right. Honestly, in terms of success from a deer killing standpoint, my season has been very good because I have the same amount of deer I had on the ground last year, and I've passed up not countless, but a lot of opportunities that I could have put other deer on the ground, but I'm just trying to wait on something decent. Like all this week, I probably could have put at least 4 or 5 deer on the ground on different occasions. I mean, I've had does. Literally, I mean, it's pretty cool for once to have the perspective of like a doe under your stand, or like a nice 4-point buck walking like nice 4-point buck walking like right in front of you, and you're just like, you're not shooting.
Why aren't you shooting them?
Because, like I said, I've got I'm hunting a lot of private land right now, and I've got an opportunity to shoot like a decent deer. So like the does are coming by, and it's pretty cool to actually like see how the rut works, and like you see does come up, you're like, oh, why is there a buck? And then all of a sudden the buck's coming up
Coming
30
right
seconds
behind.
later. So I'm kind of like waiting for that. like tomorrow might be a little bit different, but and then I just know I'm gonna have tons of opportunity come December, January to put does on the ground. And like I really don't have interest in shooting a 4-point buck right now. Like maybe if it was January and I hadn't shot anything, I would shoot it, but right now it's just not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But
he's growing up.
Yeah.
I'll say that, and it's been an interesting year for me in terms of kind of my processes. I'll be honest with you guys, I have not been enjoying hunting as much this year.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's been really something I've been thinking about lately. I've not been having as much fun.
How much you want for that saddle?
Not selling the saddle. But I was thinking about a lot of it, and I think it comes from just what we were talking about before. I don't like passing on deer. When I'm sitting in the stand, I like shooting deer. I don't like right now I'm trying to wait for like a nice deer. But I'm like, man, I don't really like doing that.
Yeah.
I don't care as much. I'm like, I don't want to take advantage of the opportunity I have. That's why I'm literally doing it. It's the only reason. I'm like, I know there's good deer on this property. It might be a very rare opportunity for me to shoot a deer that is way out of my experience level. So I don't want to lose that. But it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. And also, I honestly think I've become worse as a hunter. In terms of going into the woods expecting to see deer is different. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. But at the same time, I haven't had to work as hard this year. I know, hey, I can sit here and I'm going to see deer. I can sit here, I'm going to see deer. Why would I sit anywhere else? Where last year, I was pushing around constantly. I became such a better hunter towards the end of the year because I was, this works, this doesn't. Hey, I may spend a little bit too much time here. I should have spent time here. I didn't get to scout these properties in the summer. I literally got access to them 2 weeks. And this is like a first world problem. So,
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
But I find myself taking the path of least resistance consistently to where, hey, I can go set up over here, but there's a nice ladder stand that's in a perfect spot. Why wouldn't, and it's good wind for it. Why wouldn't I just go sit there? So I almost feel like I'm getting worse as a hunter. And I think about it a lot too in terms of like I can get as deep into this as you guys want of kind of some of like almost think about like things I've been thinking about lately. But I had a good train of thought I was going to say on something. But deer hunting we talked about before, and I thought a lot of it was the contest of being a very I thought it made it from process driven to outcome driven. And I just realized that I'm a very outcome-driven person regardless. So that's something I'm having a hard time with in terms of, like, I've realized with deer hunting, you can go in the woods and you can get better and it can be a successful hunt even though the ultimate goal was not achieved. But it's like it's not a direct measurable. Where the direct measurable is, hey, a deer's on the ground. You can go in and do the things right, but do you really know if you got better or not? So I struggle with that. But, I mean, I think a lot of it's just me getting used to different circumstances. So.
Do you think because you're not allowing yourself to shoot these deer that you want to shoot, it's kind of leaving a bad taste in your mouth? Like it's taking kind of the fun out of it?
I think it's taking some of the fun out of it. And then it's not like I'm not like a killing machine. Like I just want to go in the woods and kill.
No, I know what you mean, though.
It's just like all my goals last year, like going into this year, I was like, hey, that buck I got last year wasn't a huge buck. That would have been my goal this year if I didn't get it. Like this year, I was like, hey, I want to shoot 3 to 5 does. I passed on 3 to 5 does this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I mean, part of it, maybe it's like I'm going in there and I'm not, like things that I would find fun and satisfying and I would put like as a notch on the belt in terms of getting better as a hunter, like I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. You know, and maybe I'm waiting for something that is beyond my experience level right now.
Yeah.
A lot of different things to think about.
Yeah, and it's almost like, you're kind of robbing yourself of that by being forced into these properties where you want to shoot these large deer. You're kind of like, because I feel like growing as a hunter, like shooting those small bucks and shooting does and stacking does, like that's like so much fun, and you're kind of missing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're in your very short hunting career, you've just fast tracked to waiting for a fucking booner, and that's not what you need right now.
Yeah, it's like getting a job as a fucking welder, and you just start to weld, and you're starting to get the hang of it, and they make you a manager, and it's just like,
it's like,
you're
well,
like,
I didn't get to do anything.
Yeah, like I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like one of those things, but not. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you just got to shoot some fucking deer, man.
Yeah, just sneak them out, dude.
I mean, I could, like, the guy's fine with me shooting does, and he's like, look, you can shoot a buck. He's like, just shoot something you're proud of. He's like, there's no antler restriction, there's no size restriction. He's like, the only thing I would make you upset about, or I'd be upset about, is if you shot like a 4-pointer, and it's not something you're proud of.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't have to hold out for a Pope and Young quality deer, and there hasn't been a buck come by that I'd been like super proud of. Like, I'll be honest, even if I was on public land, might consider a little bit, but I would have to think about shooting those deer. The bucks, the does, it would be over.
Yeah, baby.
So I mean, there's something, but like I said, it's a good problem to have. I think the biggest thing is, I think that the thing I enjoyed about hunting so much last year, and I almost was like miserable for it, but like I felt so grateful, was like the struggle of like, hey, running the experiments in terms of, hey, does this work or does this not? If I sit here with this wind, how will that work?
Yeah. And
it's my own fault that I have been taking that path of least resistance, where I'm like, hell, I don't need to go do that, because I know, like, this guy's hunted these properties for so many years that he's like, hey, you can sit here, you can sit here. Those are the best spots. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go do that. And I almost have been enjoying hunting public land more.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Mm-hmm. It kind of when you take the work out of it, like even like our private, like we've completely figured it out and done all that work for ourselves. I mean, if you go to a property and you've got like a dude who's telling you like sit here, I could see how that would kind of take the fun out of it for you. Yeah. I totally understand that. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah. And now, like, what about Sika? Like, I know, so you had some opportunities to get on them there, and it didn't pan out for you. And I know that's got to be frustrating. I mean, putting myself in your shoes, like, that's got to be really frustrating. Do you think that might have something to do with why, like?
No, I think those were all just learning experiences. It was a little frustrated from that, but I think the biggest mistake I made with that trip was just trying to batch too many things together. Like, I was still like trying to do like some work stuff, and like I wasn't completely like engaged in the hunt. Like I wasn't really, like, I had a lot of stuff going on, like work wise that week. I wasn't as engaged in the hunt as I should have been.
Yeah.
Which I realize now, I think messed up some opportunities for me. When your head's not clear, when you're in the stand and you're not focused on what you're doing, you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
So I think some of that, I mean, obviously it is frustrating when you work so hard and, you know, you get opportunities and you don't capitalize. Anytime you do that, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, like, yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah.
But I had some feelings like how I feel now going into that week.
Yeah.
And I think honestly it might have bled into that week. To
you
where
plan,
again,
you plan to get back out and hunt Sika at all this year?
I'll probably go out in like January. But by myself going out there, honestly, probably.
I might be going. Me and Kevin were talking about it because obviously we're tagged out. But we were talking about, I'm off between Christmas and New Year, maybe going down to Assateague between Christmas and New Year's. Staying at my grandfather's. It's a 35-minute ride. I'm getting
Christmas
some hunts in
New
there.
Year's.
Yep.
I'll probably join you.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll drive home Wednesday. It's kind of what I was thinking. So,
Yeah.
But we could talk after about that. But
Yeah. Again, I'm not opposed to it. I just think Sika deer, when we've hunted them in December, we've hunted them in September, it freaking sucks. In October, it's a blast. It's like, you know, I think about it like elk hunting. Like, yeah, if I could, would I go elk hunting in, I don't even know their season, so I could pull something out of my ass in October, right?
Yeah.
For a rifle or whatever. Yeah, I'll go do it. But I really want to go hunt them in September.
yeah, of course.
Same thing with Sika deer. Like, yeah, okay, I'll go hunt them.
You could say the same thing about whitetail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I want to work on too, is being able to like put things together. Like, I don't know Like, just, I feel like all my life, and I'm trying to get into, like, anything. It's just, honestly, it's a lot of thoughts that I've been having lately.
Mm-hmm.
Express yourself.
Especially, like, in my third year of hunting. Like, it's almost like it's like a maturation year for me, where I'm really going to figure out what I am, what I'm not. Where my first year hunting, I think, was the most fun.
Yeah.
And I think I really enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed coming up here. I enjoyed when I'm hunting this weekend. That's what we're doing. We wake up Saturday morning, we're hunting. Saturday evening, we're hunting. Sunday morning, Sunday evening. Like, you're focused and you're solely prepared on that one thing. Like, I've noticed a lot of times when I go hunt, I'm like, I'm going to go hunt in the evening, but then I got to go do this and I got to go do that. And I'm, like, spreading myself too thin, and I'm not fully focused on what I need to be focused on, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So, like, things like that. Like, I actually wouldn't be – sometimes I wish we had a shorter season, so that way I can focus on it for, like, a shorter period of time.
Right.
Like, elk hunting in Colorado, I think it's, like, August 31st to, like, September 29th. That's all it is. Sometimes I envy rifle hunters because they have 2 weeks to where it's like, hey, those 2 weeks you can prepare and be ready. That's what your goal is. And again, I don't want that, but at the same time, I'm thinking maybe my hunting strategy moving forward is knowing my mentality, knowing how I want to work. Like, I want to go into the woods with an expectation to kill. I don't want to hunt just to hunt because I got a lot of other stuff going on. Maybe I'll hunt the rut, and I'll hunt the Sigadeer rut, I'll hunt the whitetail rut, and then maybe a little, like, I'll come up here for a weekend here and there.
Yeah.
I think this is, like, coming, like, maybe that's wearing me too and burning me out a little bit too, is like, oh, I'm working all morning, and then I got to hustle out and get my stuff together and then get into a tree Friday evening. For me, maybe it's just I'm not as engaged as I need to be.
And at the end of the day, I think that's, and everybody's different, you know what I mean? What makes you tick and what works for you, but, like, it's all about enjoying this process, you know what I mean? So if you're feeling wore out, and especially, like, during this rut, which is, we're into the thick of it now, like, it's, what is it, November 4th?
It is November 4th.
I mean, the rut is on. It's here, you know what I mean? Like, this next week is fucking
grind time.
Yeah, and that's what it can feel like sometimes. It can feel like a grind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because especially with warm weather like this, it's likely going to be a lot of slow sits. You know what I mean? But it's going to be a grind. Yeah. But when you get that one buck in front of you, man, you get that single opportunity makes all that grind so worth it. It really does.
You forget about that grind.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All that is not even
no factor.
It's a blip in your mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care that I sat that long. Yeah. I just got this animal. Speaking of which.
Yeah, what'd you do? Halloween, right?
Halloween. Our last podcast was the day before, man.
It was.
And I called a last-minute audible, because the wind was perfect for a property that I've had permission on for, I don't know, like 5 years now in Elkton. It was actually the last day I could legally hunt it. It officially sold November 1st. It was out of the property owner's name.
Legally. And
so I was like, you know what? I've sat there once this season. We sat there opening day, and I shot a doe. Let me go back and do a last sit, one last hurrah there.
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, let me tell you, I love hunting on Halloween.
Yeah.
It is just a great fucking day. It always has been for me. I've always had good hunts on Halloween. So I get in there, and, man, it's just electric, dude. As soon as I get in there, I barely get into my fucking saddle, and I've got a doe coming out. And she's about 47 yards. And, all right, so first, walking in, let me start from the beginning. Walking in, I know where I want to go. I know where these deer are on this property. It's a smaller property. I've got it pretty much figured out. I know where the moon is. So I go there, and I immediately see a large rub. That is, to me, it's a mature buck. It's we talked about how you can't really tell the size of a buck from a rub, but you can get a general idea of, like, okay, that's a tiny buck, or that's a big buck. So I really like this rub, so I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to set up a little bit off of where I normally would have set up because of this rub. Well, I get in my tree, and here comes a doe walking right by where I would have set up. And I'm like, fuck. Did I make a mistake? But I'm like, I'm going to, it is what it is. I'm going off of what I think is the best place. She walks by at 47 yards. Here comes a 4-pointer following right behind her, clearly chasing her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And some time goes by, and I don't know, probably not even an hour. It's like an hour before sundown. Some does start rolling out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
All around me. And then, lo and behold, I see the buck that I know made these scrapes, or these rubs. Yeah. And I see him in the distance, and I look at I'm looking at his left side, and he's clearly got 4 points on that side, not counting his brow tine. So I'm like, shit, that's a 10-pointer. Or he's at least close to it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck yeah. He's following right behind these does. He wasn't chasing them. He was just following behind them. Mm-hmm. So I'm patient, and it dawned on me the weekend of Halloween 4 or 5 years ago, I rattled in a monster buck, and I made the terrible mistake of shooting him quartering 2. And this time, I was smarter, and I said to myself, I'm not letting that happen again. He's going to walk past me. I'm going to let him get quartering away before I even grab before I even draw. And that's what I did. And he came in. He was fucking right underneath me, 20 yards. 15 maybe. And I grabbed my bow, and I'm like not even looking at him. I'm standing here. I'm holding my bow, and he's to my left, and I just don't want to move until he gets like a little past me and he stops walking. And I start to move to get around to draw on him, and he spots my movement. He takes off, and he runs like 20 yards and stops. But by then, I was already at full draw, and I fucking let it eat.
Yeah, baby.
And I sent that Sever broadhead right through the pump station. And that thing, dude, I am so sold on those fucking broadheads. They leave holes, son, on both entry and exit. Massive wounds. I could have grabbed his opposite arm and pulled it off. It cut him like almost all the way off, because it went in behind this shoulder and went out right underneath his armpit, and it was just totally, like, you're talking like a 6-inch wound.
Yeah, I seen the snap, and I was like, what the fuck, you hit this guy with a fucking cannon, dude? Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Those broadheads are I'm sold for life. I mean, I've killed several deer with them now, Sika mostly, but they're fucking great broadheads. Yeah. They work so well. He ran about 60 yards and dropped. And
did you watch him drop?
I heard him. I couldn't see him, but I heard him. And man, it was just like, what a finale. You know what I mean? What a last act for this property. Mm-hmm. To finally get a buck out of there, because that's my first buck I've killed on that property, other than a button buck one during rifle. Do you remember that, Johnny?
Yeah.
Thought it was a doe. Should have known.
Yeah. I would never make that mistake.
Oh, my God. Did we ever tell that story on the podcast?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
You do the honors.
We were, it was like January, right?
Uh-huh.
We were sitting in a ground blind, and we know these deer are coming out. Sooner or later, they're going to come out. And we're sitting, it was pretty early, these deer finally came out, and it was maybe like a 40-yard shot. And before that, we were like, yeah, you can shoot in the ground blind. It's not a problem. You can shoot right through these windows.
Yeah, they're the shoot-through windows.
Shoot through windows. It's fine. Well, I think you even used my leg as your elbow prop when you propped up your rifle.
Yep.
Rifle is inside the blind. You squeeze that trigger off, and I thought I just got flashbanged.
Yeah.
God. People don't ever shoot a gun inside a blind. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and this is a 30-06 with a fucking 150 grain.
So we need to put the barrel outside?
Didn't even put the barrel outside.
That's what you should do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know now.
Yeah. It's so loud.
It's loud. It ripped a huge hole in the side of this fucking
totally
blind.
Destroyed the blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't hear anything. I thought I was in Call of Duty when they get flashbang. They can't see. They can't hear. And
did it at one point cross your mind that he might have shot you?
I had no idea what happened when he pulled that trigger. It was holy shit.
Yeah. It was white light and ringing.
Yes.
And my ear, I couldn't hear well out of my left ear for like a week.
Yeah, yeah. But you stroked him.
Oh, yeah.
Little 40-pound button buck.
Yep. That was the only other buck I shot there. And so, like, for this, it was just such a it was just such a sweet ending to this property and the relationship that I had there. There was a lot of memories in this place with John and me and Wyatt. Like, it was just, and you too, you know. Like, you've hunted there probably half a dozen times too. At least a handful of times. Like, it was a great spot. You know what I mean? It was small, but it was a good spot.
Yeah, I killed my 9-pointer.
Yeah.
That one 9-pointer.
Yep.
With my old Martin.
Yeah.
Shitboat that was.
Yeah. It just, you know, it all came together. And when I got down and I walked up on this buck, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Because his one side had 5 points, 4 points, and a brow tine. His other side had no brow tine and 3 points. So what I thought was a 10 was actually an 8. But you know what? Like, it was still, like, it didn't matter to me. Like, I'm so happy with the buck. I'm glad to put a tag on him. And I just, to end it on that property on the last sit of the last day, it was just, man, it was poetic.
Soon it'll be a factory.
Yeah.
And you can drive by and tell why I shot a big old buck there.
That's right.
160-inch buck.
190-inch buck I killed out of there. Where is it, Dad? Oh, I lost it. I never did get it mounted. The butcher stole it. And yeah. But it was awesome. Fucking love Halloween. Great day to sit.
Yeah, you texted us that on the Snapchat, and I was pulling into the driveway because I did go out and go hunting. And I was up in the stand maybe 25 minutes, and it started fucking pouring on me.
Yeah. It was pouring. It was raining where I was at, but it wasn't enough to like pull me out. It was raining harder where you were.
It was dumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a good thing I didn't stay through the rain because the only thing that came by was a little 4-pointer.
Mm. Yeah.
So what do you got to do?
Sick of gear, dude. I didn't get wet at all.
Yeah, well.
You have a rain jacket on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might need to go on Amazon and get a tree stand umbrella for the
I love
end
that.
of this week.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I know I will use that, too. I forgot about that thing until you just said that.
That thing
is great.
Yes.
Because, like, even with, like, Sika gear, you don't get wet in it, but you're still getting fucking rained on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
You can't take your hands out of your pockets or fucking look at your phone or nothing. You know what I mean? So that little umbrella is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You can sit on that thing and be dry as a motherfucker. Otherwise, you're sitting up there fucking wetter than Otter's pocket.
Yeah. No fun, dude.
So that was awesome. Great hunt, man. I got one buck tag left, my bonus buck tag for archery. So John and I are kind of going into this hunt tomorrow at Rogues Harbor in the same boat.
Yeah.
I ain't shooting shit unless it's Pope and Young.
Well, I'm stroking the first doe that walks by.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm so good on meat. I got a doe, fucking a bunch of Sika deer, and a buck. So like I'm not probably gonna shoot a doe till like December. I'm waiting on it's got to be a hammer for me to pull the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah. First doe that walks by is getting iced or 130 plus.
Yeah.
It's getting iced tomorrow.
Yeah. Ryan, what are your standards for tomorrow?
See, it's tough. I would say I would shoot whatever walks, but I want to shoot a doe tomorrow.
Yes.
But I
Hell
also don't really want to have to drive up here to pick it up from the butcher.
Well, we'll take care of it for you.
So,
Yeah, I can always stick it in my freezer.
yeah,
I got plenty of room.
Next
My
time
dad's
you're-
got plenty of room.
Yeah, next time you're up here, just grab it.
yeah, I could do that. So I'm probably more inclined to shoot a doe tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or
dog.
whatever.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you shoot one.
I'm not gonna burn my buck tag on like a 4-pointer
Don't do it.
or a spike, but I'll
Yeah.
shoot a doe or like an 8-point buck.
Hell yeah. Yeah, even you shoot a doe. Like, if you want to take it to Kevin's, I'll butcher it for you Sunday when I do my buck if you want, and I'll stick it in the freezer, and it won't even cost you a dime.
Yeah, so there's options.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, man, I would love to shoot a doe, but then I'm like, I don't really want to have to drive all the way up
Let
here.
it eat.
Yeah.
I want to drive all the way up here to go to Sarge's.
Nah, dude, you shoot a fucking deer, and I'll butcher it for you, and you come get it later, whenever you get around to it.
Yeah.
I might take
We got freezer.
a steak or two.
So
Done
what are your expectations for tomorrow? I was telling these guys I almost didn't come up because of the weather, but here I am.
Yeah. It's not looking good. Runsky was just texting me seconds ago. It's only a low of 63, so it's going to be 63 degrees in the morning, November fucking 4th. I mean, I have high hopes because this property is opening tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So these deer haven't been pressured. The only pressure they've had is by hikers, and they haven't been touched by these hikers, so they shouldn't be skittish at all. So I have high hopes for the first hour and a half of daylight. After that, it's probably going to be dead. So, I don't know. I'm not real sure what to expect, but I plan on seeing somebody's going to kill something tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be you, Seth, me. My dad's going to make an appearance out in the woods. I went and seen him tonight, and Runsky will be there. So, we got 5 guys, almost half of the allowed in the property. Something's dying.
Yeah.
So, not good.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Something will die. And I'm hoping it's a public land Pope and Young by my hand. No one else's, only mine.
Can we talk about, I thought this was kind of shocking.
Right?
No?
Not going to be. It's going to be my buck.
No, mine.
Yeah.
But it's going to be mine, though.
No.
It can't be yours if
underneath
it's
my
mine.
stand.
Can we talk
And I'm going to
about,
ice it from 80 yards.
I was kind of shocked by all of your experience.
Yeah.
You've never shot a public land deer with a bow.
Yeah, I just came to that realization this week, and I told you guys I've never, not even a buck, a deer. Never shot a public land deer.
It's insane to me.
Period, with archery equipment.
With archery, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I've shot plenty with muzzleloader and shotgun, but never with archery equipment, ever.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I was racking my brain, but no, I never have.
Wow. So you got knocked out off the bucket list.
Yeah, dog. Ryan, you got to realize it was rough there in my early hunting career with my dad. Love my dad to death, but he wasn't the best deer hunter.
Like putting you in spots that.
Yeah, well, he started hunting when he was probably. When did you start hunting?
2 years ago, so I was 28.
Okay, so he started hunting when he was probably 28. Yeah, probably around there. So he didn't really have all the experience either. And he started in the 80s, 90s.
Was
there
his
wasn't
father
a
a
lot.
hunter?
He wasn't.
So we're like same boat.
Yep.
Yeah. And he probably didn't have a boatload of friends to
Yeah.
kind of guide him either.
No, he didn't have a lot of. Well, when he moved into the house that I grew up in, he had neighbors that hunted and shit. So I think that's mainly why he started. So, but he'll be out there tomorrow. I went over there tonight and sighted in his crossbow for him at 50 yards. So he is golden.
Good to go.
When's the
Good
last
to go.
time he hunted?
Oh, it's been when I killed that buck hanging on the wall right there was the last time he went hunting. So, 2018, 4 years ago. But he hasn't killed anything in probably 10 years.
So I'd really like him to get something.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be badass.
I hope a booner walks by him because that crossbow is driving tax.
Yeah.
And
What
he's
kind of
ready?
What kind of broadheads you got him?
He has rages.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That'll work.
They'll work. They'll do the job.
Dude, for a little like $250 crossbow, whatever it is, I think it's a 10-point or something.
Yeah.
I think fuck quick, dog.
Yeah.
We were standing up on his porch, and I was letting her eat. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this thing's fast.
Is it as loud as Kevin's?
It's loud.
Yeah. They're all loud.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing about crossbows, man. Like, you can buy a relatively cheap crossbow and be a lethal motherfucker from 50 fucking yards.
Yeah.
It's technology's a motherfucker.
If he got a better scope, he could go as far as he wanted.
Yeah.
He's only got 4 hash marks in his little 3x9 scope, but, you know. I took my bow over there and make sure it was on. I sent 2 at 50. The first one, I put my sight on 45 for some reason, aimed and shot real low. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, I'm not on 50. Put it on 50. Fucking bullseye.
Hell yeah.
So daddy's ready
Hell yeah.
to shoot a deer out from underneath your stand.
Oh, it's not happening. I'm going exactly the same place I went last year. That's where I'm
Okay.
sitting. I don't know where. Do you guys have like ideas of where you want to go?
80 yards from you.
Probably pretty close to where I was last year, which was probably 50 yards.
Yeah.
I was like probably like 70
yards from
but like
me.
I couldn't see you
Yeah.
because I was like up a hill.
Yeah, I got some. I did walk through there Tuesday.
Did you? Because I have no memory of exactly where I was. So
I got some pins I can drop. I didn't even go necessarily to where I want to sit. I just walked like up that top and looked at some scrapes and some rubs. And so I can send you a pin on where those are if you guys want them. But I didn't even look where I want to go because I'm just going to go to the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, the plan was to just kind of make a line so
Yeah.
nothing gets by us.
Yep.
So that was my first thought.
Especially with the wind direction,
South wind.
which is awesome.
Is it good?
It's perfect for that place. You remember it's a peninsula.
Oh, yeah.
And the tip is south. So it's blowing
perfect.
right into the road.
Perfect.
Yeah. So our wind is perfect. So, I mean, hey, it's a little warm, but we got a great wind. Zero pressure on this property. And it's literally the Rut. So it's going to be a good sit.
just got to get in there early. I remember last year, we get in there and lights everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm setting up and I see 3 lights.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst part.
Down in the woods, and then you've got. I remember sitting there. People are doing like elk bugles. It sounds like in terms of their grunt calls. I mean, 'cause me and Seth almost like left.
Yeah, I texted Ryan. I was like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here.
Holy
It was
shit.
that bad.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Like the grunts, they were like prolonged grunts.
And then 2 big bucks walked by. I was like, Jesus Christ. That's the thing. Like, on public land like that, when it just opens, you could have 1 million people in there. The deer are still going to fucking move.
And these deer live with people. Because you got
Houses.
Chesapeake Isles right there.
Yeah.
They will be coming out of people's backyards to go back to bed.
And that's exactly where I called him.
Yeah.
That's where I shot my buck. He was coming out of people's backyard,
Yeah.
going back to bed on private or public.
Yeah. That's south facing slope.
It's money.
Yep.
Yeah. So my hopes are pretty high. If I had to say generally for tomorrow as a Rut, if I had to give it like a rating, I'd probably give it one fucking star, maybe 2, just because it is a south wind. But like, you know, if a cold front, 30-degree temps on November 5th, that's getting a 5-star rating.
Mm-hmm.
62 degrees, warm front. There's a south wind, which I do like. I'm going to give you, I mean, it can't get much better than 1 star with that temp.
But the only thing about that south wind is it's going to be blowing right up their fucking poop chute.
Yeah.
Going to bed.
Well, from what I've seen, it's slightly southeast.
Yeah.
So that might help a little bit, but
You're not going to get any big bucks.
no.
That's for sure.
Well, they've been unpressured, man.
Maybe.
It is the Rut.
Maybe. I don't know. I seen something this week that really put in perspective the mind of a white-tailed deer, and it said a 3.5-year-old deer is like a 18-year-old teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they take that jump from 3.5 to 4.5, it's like a 45-year-old man.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is how they just can think and how they process information. So.
And that's kind of where I want to be. Like, don't get me wrong, a 3.5-year-old buck is still, to me, it's a nice buck, but I want something a little older tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want Big Daddy. I want something bigger than what I already shot.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
That's what we all want.
Yeah. I mean, for you, I don't think that's happening.
Right.
But I mean, you want something of a similar caliber at least.
Yeah.
You know, you want. I want a buck that I want to put on my wall.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. I've been struggling with this idea. Like, how do I shoot anything less than what I shot earlier this year?
As long as it's something you want to put on your wall.
Yeah.
You see a buck that is like, man, that's a nice buck. He might not be as big as the one you shot, but you still got a buck tag.
Yeah.
You know.
It's going to be a game time decision, I guess.
Yeah. And hey, man, if it's a money thing, get them fucking euroed.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you, dude. Paying $700-800. That's a lot of money, dude.
You getting your latest buck Euroed?
Yeah, I'm Euroing. Yeah, and honestly, I like Euros. The main reason that I'm getting my stag shoulder mounted is because he's a 4-pointer, and it would have, like, I feel like if I Euroed him, it would have just looked like a small whitetail.
I agree.
You know, so but with a whitetail, I got no problem Euroing him because it's whitetail and everybody knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, I felt like I owed that stag the dignity of showing his uniqueness. You know what I mean? By getting him shoulder mounted.
Yeah.
Because it is a unique animal.
I'm sure you'll still get a lot of questions. What the fuck is that thing?
Which is what I want. I want those. I want those questions.
That's a cicadeer.
That is called a cicadeer. They actually come from Japan. Yeah.
The Italian word is, or whatever. You know.
The Italian word is sicca, but you got to shake your hand like this. Yeah. So, but I'm a big fan of Euros. And Ryan, you are too, aren't you? Yeah. And what if you shoot a fucking Boone and Crockett buck on one of your private spots? You gonna Euro it?
Euro. I think. Look, no disrespect.
I'm a super kick you in the face.
I'd have to tell the guy who gives me permission. I wouldn't have the heart to tell him because he's a big
shoulder mount.
I think, no, and I don't mean disrespect, John, but shoulder mounts is like an old school thing.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's an old school thing.
Definitely is.
I don't think so.
And he's an old school guy.
Yeah.
And you go in his house and it's like shoulder mounts everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they look tacky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they look great when you first get them. And then I could shoot a bull elk, like a 6x6 bull elk, and I'd get it.
I'm getting them Euroed, yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. The Milo Hansen buck, the world record typical, is not Euroed. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
It's just personal preference. I just think the Euros look badass.
Yeah.
I think
I do too.
I think shoulder mounts look tacky.
Yeah.
Well, get the fuck out of my house, Ryan. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, to each their own. To each their own. But
I mean, they do take up a lot of room.
yeah.
Take up a lot of wall space. But, you know.
And they're fucking expensive, and they take forever to get back.
If you get them done right, yeah, they take fucking forever.
Yeah. So, I don't know. To each their own, though. I don't have an issue with either of them.
No. It's like I said, it's a personal preference thing. I think the Euros, like, because they're like a timeless, classic, like rustic look.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think the shoulder mounts are more
Like a tacky 80s style. Yeah,
it's like shag
like
rug.
shag rug. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, both of you can get the fuck out of my house. Because when you see my fucking 140 class 10-pointer and a goddamn shoulder mount, you're going to
But that's the
fucking
thing.
jizz
It's
yourself.
your deer.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are you going to remember that deer? How do you want its legacy to live on? Like, so do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like shoulder mounts so much is because you can customize them.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your ears the way you want. You get them up, down, sneak, full upright, looking right, looking left.
Yeah.
You can recreate the last moment that you've seen that animal alive,
I like that.
which is how I try to do every mount that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like shoulder mounts too. I do.
Mhm.
I just prefer Euro, but I have nothing. It's not like I think, like I say like they look tacky, but I don't necessarily feel that way. I just feel that way as in like for my house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if I had a fucking like John Dutton's house with like log cabin walls
course,
and it,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like then I almost would feel bad to get a Euro. You know what I mean? Because it just fits with the home. But also I like the Euro, the fact of it. Like my dad's, I got one of his shoulder mounts and it's like falling apart. You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about that with a Euro. I mean, of course, I could always get it redone.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but it's just teach their own.
Yeah, if you're out there listening, weigh in. Shoulder mount or Euro mount? Obviously, the correct answer is shoulder mount, but
We could do that on the Instagram
We
too.
should.
Yeah, that's a good.
I would love to know.
It's a good statistic. I'd love to know what the general consensus is on what people prefer.
You can see the age bracket of your listeners. You can see who's 50 plus and who's younger than 30.
no, I agree. The Euro mount is definitely a new age thing
Yeah,
for sure.
it's Joe Rogan's fault.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll kick
How
him right
so?
in the dick.
Oh, he's talked in not ad nauseum about how he prefers a Euro.
Really?
He says it's because he's like, a shoulder mount isn't real. He's like, that's not his real eyes. That's not like his real nose. Like you're making a stuffed animal out of a deer that you shot. And I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying, but like it's John saying, you're recreating the animal in the way that it lived. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a fucking.
I think again, I don't think anything negatively of it, but like when I was growing up, my dad liked cheap beer. Can't hate the man. He liked.
You got a problem with cheap beer?
No, I got no problem.
Give me that Busch Light.
He liked cheap beer, and he liked cheap things to do with us. So when we were kids, we'd always go to like VFWs or like dive bars.
Hell
Yeah.
And all my
Show
life
and tell
growing
in
up,
Philly.
man, they would have shoulder-mounted deer everywhere. So, like, when I think of a shoulder-mounted deer, I'm like, dude, I don't want my house to look like a VFW.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's
No,
my
I get it. Yeah.
experiences.
So you would never get one shoulder mounted ever.
I don't ever say never,
Yeah.
but I would be very surprised
Okay.
if I got a shoulder mount. And again, I just think the Euros are cool. When I think
No,
like
no,
the
yeah.
Euros, like I just think like shooting a 6x6 elk.
Try to. Thank you.
Sorry, folks.
I know.
He
I
gets
know.
so wound up.
He does.
I just think about
you
getting,
speak
like-
in people's direction, which is normal, but
Yeah.
like try to.
I'm not a
speak into the mic.
podcaster. I'm not an influencer.
Just like I can hear like when you.
Yeah. I think of like a 6x6 elk and having like a standalone garage and putting it like right outside.
Sick.
Like something like that
Mhm.
is just badass to me.
No, I get it, but you're wrong.
Like even the Sika deer, I would get Euroed.
So here's a question for you, Ron. With like we've been toying with going out west for a while, but I know you and I discussed this with the not getting a stag on the ground. We going back to Sickerville next year?
I would like to go back to Sickerville next year.
I'm good with that.
I
want a
really,
six-pointer.
I really want to go out west,
I do too.
but when I go out west, I want to do it right.
Mhm.
And I talked to Seth. I was even looking at like a guide,
Ooh.
and it's not because I feel like, and again, I'll never say never, but for me, like shooting Sika deer, I can go to Muddy Marsh and spend $700
Yeah.
and shoot over a feeder.
See, that
But
doesn't do it
doesn't
for
do
me.
anything for me.
No.
But a guide, I feel like, is different because like I look at what I have with you guys, right? Like you guys are a wealth of knowledge. If I have a question, I don't even Google it. I just text you guys, and normally I get an answer. Because I have understood like the importance of surrounding yourself with people that know better and accelerating your learning curve.
You know, sometimes we tell you things that are completely wrong just to fuck with you, right?
It's fine. It's fine. But I look at a guide as exactly that. Is like I'm paying for someone who's going to take me out west and who's going to accelerate my learning curve, who's going to teach me about elk habitat, he's going to teach me this. He's like, if you ask questions, you're paying the person.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll only be like a one-time thing. And then the next year you go, you have an understanding. Like, okay, would you rather, and again, I looked at the price of guides, they're astronomical. But would you rather go year one and learn a ton and have a chance of success every year, or take 6 years to get on elk? Like, elk hunting's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you only have so much time on this earth. I'd rather accelerate that learning curve if I have the means to do it.
That's a good point.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Pay for that guide for year one. Get a good understanding of it. And even if you don't kill one, then you've at least got the knowledge and the understanding that you learned from him. And that'll then translate into your later years of elk hunting. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good move.
Yeah. But
What?
they're very expensive.
Yeah.
What-
It was like 10 grand.
What were the
plus.
prices you were
15
seeing?
grand.
Oh,
Yo!
yeah, I'm
that's
not doing that.
15 grand. That includes that butchering it. It includes a Euro mount
Is
if you wanted
there
to
a
do
complimentary blowjob in there, dude? Because 15 grand, you can get fucked.
Does it include like room and
that.
board
It
and
includes,
meals?
it includes like a tent setup. Depends on what you do.
Yeah.
Like if you like some of them are around that for like a lodge, but other ones for like if you know like a tent setup. But then you have to you're looking at like 18 grand for a guide, which is
That's
really
too much, man.
really
Oh, I
expensive.
can't do that.
No. I was thinking like if it was
Pay
'cause when I
$600 for
was
an over-the-counter tag and hike 10 miles.
when I was looking at like axis deer.
And the bugle back and forth to some random guy.
Yeah, me and some dude from Kentucky are just fucking bugling to each other.
There's one over that ridge.
When I looked at like axis deer guides and stuff, and it was like I was like okay, like 5-6 grand. Like if elk's like 8 grand, like that might be a good investment. And that's what I look
Still
at as like
wouldn't
an
do it.
investment. And then 15 grand, I was like nah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it at 8.
But
That's too much money.
I think I'd do it at 5.
Yeah.
like, what-
Yeah.
So,
All
like,
in.
when we do elk, what do we do? Because I talked to Seth and we've talked. I don't like I said if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right. Colorado, I've heard, is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go there and it's just people everywhere, and everyone's got the same mentality. Gotta hike in further. Gotta hike in further. Gotta hike in further. And then you're bugling, and like I will never forget the first year me and Seth went. I guess you were there, but you guys weren't there, but you were there.
Yeah.
Sick of deer hunting, and we'd hear a bugle, and we'd just look at each other, and thumbs down, And I'm like, I heard it's the exact same Colorado in the over-the-counter units.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to hunt Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I've watched YouTube videos, and it's just people everywhere.
That's why we need to all keep putting in for these PA elk tags. Yeah. One of us will eventually get one. And it's a short drive. It's affordable. The success rate is fucking through the roof. It's like a 90% success rate.
And the bulls are huge.
They're monster bulls. They're fucking huge. That's what I'd love that to be my first elk hunt. But out west, I feel like, so I know a guy who hunts out west, and I could always reach out to him when we do decide to go and try to link up with him. And he could be like a guide to us.
Is he local here?
I did jiu-jitsu with him in Bel Air. So, yeah, he's relatively local. He goes every year.
No shit.
Yeah.
He's a whitetail guy?
He hunts everything. Yeah. He's killed several bulls. Like, he knows what he's doing. This motherfucker will drive out there.
Do you go to Colorado?
Yep. He'll drive out there, hunt for 3 days, turn around, and drive back.
Ew.
Yeah. He's a bad motherfucker. And he does it by himself.
No shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He said he'll drive like 16 hours straight, 18 hours straight. Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah.
And then, but you're driving 16, 18 hours, and then you're not, sleeping in a hotel room.
No.
You're friggin' hoofing it.
Yeah. And then if you kill one, you're packing that bitch out. So, the way he does it is brutal, but I guarantee you he's a wealth of knowledge. So we could link up with him, maybe hunt with him for a few days, then when he decides to drive back, we'll stay or whatever. But, I got a guy that could potentially help us.
Yeah. The more people we can link up with, the better.
Yeah, it's always valuable to know somebody who knows the area, like Gary with the Sika, you know what I mean? Like you and with me and John with whitetail. Like you said, I mean, knowledge is everything.
Yeah.
Getting an understanding and having somebody to kind of mentor you is so valuable. Because I feel like Musashi. When you know the way, when you see the way broadly, you see it in all things. Mm-hmm. And I think that applies to hunting a lot. You know what I mean? Like if you know how to kill, you can. It applies to all species, but there's a lot of nuance to each of these animals, and there's a lot of they're all different in their own regard. You know what I mean? But in a lot of ways, they're all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I was listening to a podcast literally on the way up today, and Andy May was on there. And he was saying that you'll notice that hunters that have an idea of once they're really good at one species, they can pick up and go from to the next a lot quicker than someone who has zero experience.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've done with Sika pretty much. I mean, we've taken our knowledge from whitetail. We had the learning curve and all that stuff, but we learned a lot about them. We figured them out, and now we consistently on different properties, different locations, on public land, get within shot range of these animals. You know what I mean? It took us a year.
Yeah, I was going to say it took you a year. And
yeah.
Wicked shit.
You read stuff on the Facebook forums, and I've been hunting these things for 7 years.
I finally got one.
I just saw one.
Yeah. So it's it makes you wonder. And I don't claim to be the best whitetail hunter or anything like that, but I think I'm a proficient whitetail hunter, and that translates to other species. It does. Mm-hmm. It absolutely does.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to stroke a public land Pope and young buck tomorrow morning.
I can't wait for you to watch me stroke a buck.
I can't wait for you guys to watch me stroke off in my saddle.
I hope my dad gets one, and I hope Bronsky gets one.
Yeah. I'd love to see everybody have at least some semblance of success tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, you and me have had such good seasons so far. I mean, I'd defer to everyone else, honestly. I'd like to see everybody else get some shit on the ground. Ryan drove up. I'd like to see you at least get some meat in the freezer. I'd like to see Runsky get one, and of course your dad, man. It's been so long since he's killed something. That would just be awesome. Might
just get down and just do a little drive for him.
Yeah.
Get stuck in the leg with a crossbow bolt.
Yeah. God damn it, Dad. Shoot you in the ass.
Now watch. We're going to get there 3:30 in the morning, and there's going to be a whole truckload, a whole van full of Amish.
I don't think so.
Nah, I think we'll be all right.
Not with this weather tomorrow.
So, what do you guys want to do if we get there and it's full?
Go back to bed.
Go up to the lighthouse?
Turkey Point?
Yeah.
What if that's full?
Well, then if that's full,
Go back to bed.
Go back to bed. I mean, what the fuck are we gonna do?
That's a good spot down in there, Turkey Point.
Yeah, I know some spots in there where
Yeah,
I'd
me
hunt. I've hiked in there and I've seen deer.
That's 1,200s too, right?
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
I think it's 1,200. I know all those properties down there have limits.
Because there's like 3 properties. 2 of them are archery only, and 2 of them open tomorrow. And then there's one
The
that
Carter property is where you can rifle hunt.
Yeah,
Muzzleloader.
muzzleloader shotgun.
Yeah, I mean honestly, if it's all full, we can always just go back and hunt the state forest.
I'll be
would
in
love that.
I'll be in bed. I don't foresee it being like that, but you never know.
No, I don't either. But hey, I hunted in there once this year, and have you guys ever gotten to a property? This is the most frustrating thing in hunting. It is the number one single most just soul-crushing thing in hunting. You check the wind on your app. You check the wind as you get in. You climb into your stand, and the fucking wind spins.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, of course.
It's annoying.
That is just, it's fucking brutal, man. It's like, what the fuck? I'm looking up at God like, are you for real, dude? This is what we're doing? Like, just fuck me, huh? You know what I mean? Like, man.
I've left. I've gotten
I
down
have
and
too.
left because I'm so frustrated and I don't want to blow the spot up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's just
It happens.
like,
It does
yeah.
happen. And, I mean, the wind changes. From 1 hour to the next, it can literally completely change direction.
And topography of the land.
It plays in a big role in it, too.
Yeah.
So I get into my stand there, and I've got a great spot. I mean, I've got some rubs. I feel good about it. And I don't know, maybe an hour and a half after I sat there, and this is that property, all of a sudden I hear, so I get in my stand, and I check my wind, and it's good. I don't know, a couple minutes go by, and I feel it on the back of my neck. I'm like, what the fuck? So I check my wind, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's blowing exactly where I expect the deer to come from. So I'm like, what do you do now? You know what I mean? Like, it's public land. It's not like it's my money spot. I don't want to climb down. I just hiked all the way in here. So I'm like, well, maybe they'll come from another direction. A couple minutes go by, and I hear it before I see it, a crash. And then I look up, and I see a deer fucking taking off. Like, and it was dead downwind of where I was. And it was just, like, exactly where I expected them to come from. And it's like, honestly, I think it was a buck. And it's just like, motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? But my point of this story is there's some good spots in there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's just it's kind of like where you're at down on the shore. It's such a big piece of property, and the topography doesn't change a whole lot other than Hog Hill.
So you're just
It's mostly flat,
yeah.
and you got to find edges and sit on them.
There's no edges in there.
There's a swamp, which I like to sit on the edge of that. There's some sign there, and where I sat was at the base of Hog Hill, the one hill in that whole property. Well, for the most part, the big hill, and there's some mountain laurel and stuff, and they bed up in there, and that's where I sat, and that's where I seen some sign. I thought it was a good spot. It would have been a good sit had my wind not done that. Whatever that deer was would have been coming straight towards me.
Yeah, that's always the worst. And then you sit up there, and then you double check all of your wind apps, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
No, it says it's going this way. Why is it going this way?
The stupid fucking app.
And then I'll check Hunt Stand, and then I'll go to Onyx. I'm like, fuck.
And fuck me, right, John?
I got you one.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Hey.
I don't care what your old lady says about you.
What? No, but yeah, I'm with you. I'll check the Weather Channel app. I'll check Hunt Stand. I'll hunt Onyx, and they'll all say different shit. I'm like, well, this is what am I paying for?
Yeah. That's so irritating.
Yeah.
So I got a question. How do you guys hunt the different phases of the rut differently?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the pre-rut when these bucks are on their feet, looking. You want to be downwind of a bedding area during the midday, obviously. But I think the morning and the afternoon are all pretty much the same. They're kind of going bed bed to feed and feed to bed. So that's my 2 cents. What do you think?
I like that early, like the pre-rut. I like to rattle.
Yeah.
Then the remainder of the rut, I kind of put the rattles up, and I'll keep my grunt tube to try to call a buck. Like if I see him physically, I'm not like blind grunting. But I mean, for the most part, it's all the same. You know what I mean? I'm hunting it very, very similarly. But the pre-rut, that is the only time I really like to rattle. Like the last week of October, maybe the first week of November, I'll rattle a little bit. But then after that, I'm mostly just focusing on like doe bedding areas, long sits, funnels, and stuff like that. And then like you get into that like lockdown stage is what they call it.
Rough.
And that I hunt that very differently.
I don't hunt it at all.
The lockdown stage is next week, right?
Yeah, the end of this week, next week,
yeah,
after that, something like that.
Right when the weather drops.
Yeah, well, you know, these big bucks in lockdown phase, they like to push these does into these secluded areas. Like they can be just like in a drainage ditch, fucking
thickets,
fucking, somewhere you might not even think. So, you know, driving around and just looking in these drainage ditches and maybe spotting one and getting permission right then and there to sneak up on his bitch ass and arrow him.
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
More like even like your property. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sitting in those areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it all goes back to a lot of it is does too, man. Like during the rut is you find the does, you find the bros.
I love hunting does.
I tell you what, if I didn't have so much meat in the freezer, I'd shoot one tomorrow.
Oh, I'm icing one.
I might still do it.
Yes. I'm sending a Grim Reaper through a motherfucking pump station, dog.
What broadheads you shoot, Ryan?
Schwacker.
Still a Schwacker?
I think, because I got like 20 of them.
Do you really?
Oh, shit.
I went to the Walmart by me. They have like major clearances right as hunting season ends. And last year, I think I got 4 packs of them, and they were like $12.99 each.
Jesus.
They just clearance them. Our hunting section sucks at our Walmart. It's like they don't have anything at all. It's really weird. So I've got so many of them, and I like them a lot.
Swacker's a great broadhead.
But when I run out of those in 20 years, I'm gonna get what you got.
Yeah, I think I'm probably a lifetime sever.
Now,
They're the first broadhead I've ever shot that I am just absolutely blown away with.
Are you reusing them?
Yeah, actually, the buck I shot on Halloween, that was a reused sever. Yeah.
You sharpen the blades or?
Nope. But
Don't do that.
I don't like to do that. And I had already ordered replacement blades, and which I will do that, but I don't like reusing broadheads. And I ordered more broadheads as well as replacement blades, but they just hadn't come in yet. And I was like, this is what I got. I got a Schwacker, I got an NAP Spitfire, and I got a used sever. And I decided to go with the used sever. And like I said, dude, the whole speaks for itself.
It's funny, like the different trains of thought. Like Gary shoots
Schwacker.
He shoots Schwacker. I'm like, Gary, you reuse your Schwackers? He's like, hell. He's like, every Schwacker in my quiver, I've shot at least 3 deer with them.
Jesus.
I was like, you sharpen them? He's like, nah.
Don't do
like,
that.
shit, all right.
Wow, that's surprising shit. Dude,
that's old school train of thought right there.
Yeah, dude.
The dollar, the better.
That is not.
That's
old school shit.
That?
That's old school shit. Yeah, man.
I've
They want to do as much damage as possible. They want it to tear and rip.
But there's some science to that, Johnny. You know about it. Well,
yeah.
Tell us about that, John.
Vitamin K. These bucks during the rut, they produce this vitamin K, and it helps them coagulate their blood faster than any other time of the year. So if it's not a clean, precise cut, if it's tearing, like say if they got in a fight and they got punctured, if it's not a clean, precise cut, then it's going to coagulate a lot faster.
So what broadhead company do you think paid Mississippi Deer Lab to say that?
Who did I hear that from? I forget who I heard that.
You know what I'm saying? Though? Like,
Yeah.
That could be propaganda bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that would be a great way to sell broadheads, right?
I think I heard that from the Drurys 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What
Well,
head are they selling?
yeah.
That makes
Not to say that's false, though, because that,
Makes sense.
yeah. Especially because they fight.
They fight, they stab each other. Mm-hmm. They can't, they got to coagulate.
Yeah. So, and just for me, like, I know broadheads are expensive, but to me, it's worth the money to not worry about that kind of thing.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather pay for good broadheads. I'd rather have sharp broadheads. I'd rather have fresh broadheads. Now, have I shot deer with reused fucking broadheads? Absolutely.
So have I.
Plenty of times. And for the most part, I haven't had issues. But I'd rather not have that as a variable.
Oh, yeah. Control the things you can control.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in front of a 140-inch buck that you've worked so hard for and then it not go down even though you had a great shot due to an equipment malfunction.
Yeah, in my older years, I feel like we owe more to these animals than a dull broadhead. That's just me.
100%. 100%. Like, God damn it, Sam. I think it's just not worth it to risk that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always try to have sharp broadheads. Now, like I said, I ordered some in the mail. They didn't come in yet. I'm not going to not hunt because of it.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah. It's if I had to if I have it my way, I'm always going to have a fresh broadhead in my quiver to shoot with.
Yep.
Yeah. We got a big day tomorrow, boys.
Yes, we do.
We got to get up bright and early to beat the crowd.
Oh, God.
So we're just over an hour here. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, go Phils. God damn it.
Go Phillies. Let's go, baby.
Fuck the Astros.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Go Birds, too.
Yeah, Ravens.
Yeah, not those. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the fuck out of y'all. We hope you guys are getting out there and fucking laying some pipe out in these fucking deer woods, dude. Just dropping some bucks. We want to see them, send them. Some of you have. That's fucking awesome. Especially like if you're not from around here, like I'd love to see like what's going on in your area, how your rut is panning out. And then I know it's been a hot one, so
God.
Hey man, power through it, y'all. Cause no matter what, they gotta fuck.
They gotta fuck.
So keep coming back. We will see you guys very soon.